Prince of Wales, saluting the lifeguards, and now the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery, commanded by Major Franz Sykes. Now the officer in charge of the entire Household Division, General Officer commanding London District, is this gentleman, Major General Christopher Geeker, formerly of the Irish Guards.
Well, I first watched the parade as a boy from one of the officers in the Horse Guards in the 1970s. And then I was the ensign of one of the guards in 1994. And now I find myself in 2022 as the Major General. So it's been an amazing journey, and it's a bit like coming home, really. Nobody on parade today will take part in another Platinum Jubilee birthday parade. And so I think we're all very keenly aware of the unique nature of the day.
Major General working closely with the Senior Director of Music. It is Simon Hoare's last year in this role before he retires after a distinguished career.
There is one very special piece of music that's been composed for the Platinum Jubilee. It's called the Platinum Jubilee March, and it's our special gift to Majesty the Queen. It's my last parade in the Army, and yes, it will be a very emotional moment. You know, it's 34 years of service, but it's a great way to finish my service.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we are looking forward very much to that new composition called the Platinum Jubilee March, which is the mass band's birthday gift to Her Majesty the Queen today, and I'm sure that Her Majesty will be eagerly looking forward to hearing it wherever she's watching the parade. I suspect it's at Buckingham Palace. Now the parade is about to start in the time-honoured way with the ever-popular march called Les Huguenots, played every year at the parade since 1936, although the piece is much older than that. And for many it's the tune that they always associate with this event, and it's a real chance for the mass bands to show what they're made of. It is a magnificent piece. It's a perfect military march, and the entire royal family seems to be very keen on it. So it's a great start to the parade itself, and it'll be heard throughout the surrounding area of St. James's Park. Is looking for the raised trombone and tell the mass bands to turn to countermarch. So from the very familiar to the brand new, this is the Platinum Jubilee March, written by Sergeant Shelton. This is the birthday gift to Her Majesty. And by the way, worth noting on parade today, the first female Director of Music in the Household Division, Major Lauren Trent-Watts of the Welsh Guards. The lone drummer breaking away, Lance Sergeant Lewis Hamilton from Northern Ireland, from the Corps of Drums, marching to a position to the right of the escort, and that's ready for the next phase of the parade. Drummer playing 8 bars of a field signal called the drummer's call.
Escort for the colour. Slow arms. Remainder. Change arms. Stand at ease. Escort for the colour. In close order. Left. Just.
Subaltern of the escort, Captain Freddie Bagshaw, gives the order for the escort to take up their dressing in close order. That's a tighter formation for the march forward to collect the colour in a few minutes. The orderly, Guardsman Kevin Newell, marching forward to take the pace stick from the regimental sergeant major, who draws his sword.
Escorts for the colour will advance by the left. Quick march.
Such a rousing tune, and the escort stepping off the uplifting march of the British Grenadiers. They march forward and halt some 16 paces from the colour party, ready for the collection to take place. And it's a good, energetic moment for the escort at this point.
It is. At last you're on the move. Intense excitement takes over from whatever nerves you may have left, and excitement of what's to come. This is the key moment really for Lieutenant Charlie Bashall, the ensign, who will really, the penny drops when you take the Queen's colour, which the escort then salute in front of you. It's an extraordinary moment. Remember it, Charlie.
Escort for the colour! In open order, right chest! Mass bands, drums and pipes, monitor! One, turn! Guns! Shun! Hands off! Slow! Off!
And a critical moment here, Jamie, for the Regimental Sergeant Major and for the ensign.
Yes, this is where the ensign has to pick up the step from the Regimental Sergeant Major in order to receive the colour. Brilliant.
So David Griffiths, the Regimental Sergeant Major, saluting the colour, and then he'll collect the colour from Colour Sergeant. The ensign saluting the colour. Lieutenant Charles Bashall, great honour for him to troop the colour through the ranks today.
Ready! Escort to the colour! Present! Up! Escort to the colour! Slow! Arms!
So the ensign and the Regimental Sergeant Major resume their positions within the escort. And this is the point at which the escort for the colour, having taken possession of it, now becomes the escort to the colour. Status has changed.
Escorts to the colour! Change! Arms! Escorts to the colour will advance! By the centre! Slow! March!
The timeless melody of Escort to the Colour by Richard Ridings as the escort advances in slow time. And the band's already beginning their difficult manoeuvre known as the spin wheel. 200 musicians or so, supported by the corps of drums, having to change direction without changing formation, which is quite a challenge.
Guards! Present! Arms!
Music changes to the Grenadiers' slow march. The colour, the escort, continue the slow march through the ranks. This is really the spiritual heart of the parade. This is the part known as trooping the colour, and the significance of that can't be overstated. And it is the ensign's responsibility to troop the colour through the ranks. And as Jamie was telling us, it's a moment of immense pride and privilege for the ensign chosen for this parade, Lieutenant Charles Bashall.
It is, Hugh. It's the most intense feeling of kinship, practically in my military career. Septem Juncta Uno, the motto of the Household Division. 7 joined in one. The 7 regiments of the Household Division joined as one. All of them honouring the colour you're carrying. It's the family of the Household Division and of the Irish Guards, the mix. It's an incredibly intense feeling. The officers whispering you encouragement as you go past them. It's a magical moment for Charlie Bashall here.
Well, we spoke to him, and this is what he had to say.
To be chosen to be ensign this year is an incredible privilege. I know that many have come before me, and as much as it's a massive occasion, it's quite a small group who have been ensigns before. Obviously, very excited. I told the parents straight away. But then I also realised, wow, this is going to be a very important occasion. Hopefully not going to get it wrong. Lots of people are going to be watching, but I know that with all the rehearsals, it should be all right. And if anything, I was extremely excited.
The colour there resplendent with the battle honours, and those who are not familiar with regimental history might not understand the full significance of the colour.
The colour historically was the rallying point in the smoke of battle, so that's why it's shown to the soldiers on parade, so they know what to look for in the heat of battle. Nowadays, obviously not on the battlefield, but it's still the soul of the regiment. It has literally a semi-sacred value, and it's also the cenotaph of the regiment. All of those battle honours on the colour where Irish Guardsmen fought and died.
The colour will advance! Left! Turn! Escort to the colour! Change! Arms! Escort to the colour! Present! Up! Guards! Slow! Arms! Officers, take post! Quick march! Numbers 1 to 5 guards will retire. About turn! Turn! Steady! At the halt, right form! Quick march! Numbers 1 to 5 guards will advance. About turn! Number 6 guard, close order, march! Move to the right in 3s. Form 3s! Right! Guards will march past in slow and quick time. By the left, slow march!
So after that long sequence of words of command, as the field officer said, the guards now marching past in slow and quick time. the neutral slow march, neutral because it doesn't belong to any regiment particularly, is called Bob's Own. The colour has been trooped, so now we have a different phase in the parade, a feast of music and drill to enjoy again. Bob's Own, Jamie, what does that mean?
Yet another nickname of the Irish Guards. Bob was Field Marshal Lord Roberts of Kandahar Victoria Cross. He was the first colonel of the Irish Guards on formation, and he saw us off to the First World War in August 1914 and died 2 months later. He was much beloved by the Irish Guards.
Thought for the ensign again here as the escort waits to move off, because he'll need to move to the front of the escort, won't he, Jamie? Because he'll be really centre stage once again when the march past happens and the Prince of Wales takes a salute.
He will, Hugh. This is the second moment in the parade where the ensign really takes centre stage, as you say, and it's a moment where he has to get the flourish, as it's known, right as he marches past in slow time. The trick is to get the colour hanging vertically level and then gathering it again. Today he shouldn't have much of a problem because there's not a lot of wind, but sometimes that can be difficult to gather it back in again. But this is a great moment.
I'd say there are some other people enjoying the parade there. Some of the young guests in the Major General's office. All of them enjoying the spectacle. Major of the parade is Major Adrian Havelock, leading the parade while the commanding officer gives the words of command. Great vantage point this, we're at ground level, and this is the result of all of the drill and all of the rehearsing and the standards being set as high as they possibly can be.
It's the culmination of months of training, months of focus, and it's paying dividends today, as everybody can see.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his wife Carrie, and other guests there from diplomatic circles, and indeed there are cabinet ministers and opposition figures there too. The ensign moving to the front of the escort, ready for the march past. And since the year 1902, the Irish Guards have had the honour of trooping their colour for the Sovereign on no fewer than 13 occasions, most of those for the record breaker, of course, herself, Her Majesty the Queen. Ready for the march past in slow time. The field officer in brigade waiting, the man in charge of the entire parade, is leading the way, Lieutenant Colonel James Aldridge. Salute as the music changes to the Irish Guard slow march, Let Erin Remember. Looking on there, the Duke of Cambridge, as his regiment leads the way, as the ensign prepares to perform that flourish that you were talking about. Duke of Cambridge must be proud.
this will be a culminating moment of his colonelcy of the Irish Guards. He'll be proud of the way they're performing, and he'll be proud to be their colonel. Beautifully done.
Grenadier slow march. Nijmegen Company Grenadier Guards. Scots Guards slow march. Garb of Old Gaul. Number 5 Guard, F Company Scots Guards. It's the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War this year, Battle of Tumbledown, where 8 Scots Guards and 1 Royal Engineer were killed. So it's a year where lots of people will be casting their minds back 40 years.
Well, we shared a barracks, Chelsea barracks, with the Scots Guards 2nd Battalion 40 years ago. We went off to Germany, they put away their tunics and their bearskins, picked up their rifles and went to the South Atlantic, where they fought and won the fearsome Battle of Mount Tumbledown.
Prince of Wales, of course, taking salute. Colonel of the Welsh Guards, thinking of those who were lost on the Sir Galahad. 32 of the 48 who died on the ship were Welsh. The adjutant of the parade is Captain Dave Stodel. Field Officer, Brigade Waiting, Commanding Officer of the Parade, Lieutenant Colonel James Aldridge, riding out to salute the Prince of Wales, now that the slow march past is complete. So the first phase of the march past complete, Jamie, and I can tell from your reaction you thought it was pretty impeccable, which is good to see.
It was a great Mick cocktail, if I can put it like that. The Micks have this fantastic mix of Guards discipline and pursuit of excellence, with that Irish irrational 10th, if I can quote Lawrence of Arabia, which makes it the best regiment on the planet. I would say that.
It's slightly predictable, I have to say, yes. I should as well explain, you said a few minutes ago, Jamie, that the Irish Guards were affectionately known as the Micks, and some people watching might think, well, that's not an altogether nice term, but it's worth underlining that is what you Irish Guards call yourselves.
It's what we call ourselves, and actually it's been a nickname for so long that any connotations there may or may not have been have worn off.
Well, they are marching with pride and with style today, pressing this vast crowd music will soon be changing. And the Royal Standard being broken out above Buckingham Palace. We know what that means. It means that Her Majesty is in residence. So all fingers crossed for a balcony appearance by the Queen later.
Into quick time! Quick march!
So the Guards have reformed, ready to march past in quick time. Their very upbeat tempo. Another neutral march before the regiments march past the Prince of Wales. This neutral quick march is called Rhythm of the Line, composed by Major George Willox, former Director of Music of the Irish Guards. Duchess of Cambridge, who's been seen at the window several times, smiling and enjoying the scene. And as we see the ensign marching in quick time, what does this phase of the parade mean for Charles Bashall?
Well, if he's anything like me, and I think he's got more steel than I have, but you begin to enjoy the parade at this point. You've done the two trickiest bits, if I can put it that way, and you're slightly hidden, as you can see, behind the escort, and you begin to really enjoy it.
See them all prepare for this march past in quick time. Very strong shadows on the parade ground. The sun is out. It's fairly warm. Would you say these are ideal conditions, Jamie, or is it a touch too warm for them?
No, I think it's good. Looking at the flags, there is a bit of a breeze coming off the park, and that makes all the difference.
Marching with purpose and with energy to the corner of the parade ground, where they'll turn, of course, to face the Prince of Wales and Duke of Cambridge and the Princess Royal, led by the field officer. Standing by for the march past in quick time to begin, for the music to change to the Irish Guards quick march, which is called St. Patrick's Day. Prince of Wales enjoying the sights and the sounds now that the 15 or so pipers have joined the music once again, and adding a lot of flair, a lot of energy. For you as an Irish Guardsman, Jamie, this has got to be a rousing moment.
St. Patrick's Day is the moment when the mixed swagger comes out. It's not in any of the drill books, but there's a lifting of the temperament, frankly.
British Grenadiers, Nijmegen Company Grenadier Guards. Unmistakable Scots Guards Quick March, Heel and Laddie. F Company Scots Guards, the only regiment of the Household Infantry not to sport a plume in the bearskin. Very familiar Quick March Coldstream Guards, Millenolo. Number 6 Guard provided by number 7 Company Coldstream Guards. Another change of music. This is another neutral Quick March, Slattery's Mounted Foot, and good title for a great tune, I have to say. We talk a lot, JB, about family, and every guest I have in this commentary box, different regiments, will say, well, of course, we're a very proud family regiment. You will share that sentiment, but how would you differ then to the other regiments?
Well, we're very fortunate in that we've never been amalgamated, as none of the Foot Guards Regiment have. So fathers, sons follow fathers, brothers, they're all in there. In fact, the subaltern of the escort, Captain Freddie Bradshaw, is my godson, of whom I'm very proud. So it just has that family feel to it.
Whereas the Guards reform for the next stage. It's time for Lieutenant Colonel James Aldridge to ride out to salute the Prince again. Told us about his role today.
It's a huge honour for the Irish Guards to be conducting the Queen's Birthday Parade in this Platinum Jubilee year. It's going to be a spectacular event. Probably the most challenging part is the fact that I'm doing it mounted, riding a horse. It's not something I've done a huge amount of before, but Integrity and I have been building a relationship for the last 3 or 4 months now. So hopefully we'll connect, and he and I will both behave on the day.
No question at all that it's not just a huge honour for James Aldridge to be commanding officer of the parade, but it's daunting too. And the eyes of the world, those who are right around the globe taking an interest in this parade, and trust me, they do, in their hundreds of millions if you add the audience up. Of course it's a daunting role.
Shoulder! Arms! Officers! Take post! Quick march! In open order, left and right, dress.
March, march, drums and pipes, 1 way to the right. Right, turn. Wide left, quick, march.
Senior drum major, great voice carrying right across the parade ground. Music here is called Field Marshal Alexander of Tunis. Foot Guards therefore have reformed, and soon it'll be the turn of the mounted troops to pass the saluting base. Household Cavalry, the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery, and of course the mounted bands of the Household Division. So we have the massed bands marching to one side to make way for the mounted bands. Corporal of Horse, Chris Diggle, musician Dominic Buswell, riding Harry and Ed, the heroic drum horses. Major Paul Collis-Smith, the director of music, riding Passchendaele. Very nice as well to hear a good rousing Welsh march, the men of Harlech. We see movement there on the edge of St James's Park because we have the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery moving onto the parade ground. In a year of notable anniversaries, 2022 is the 75th anniversary of the creation of the King's Troop, formed at the instigation really of George VI. He wanted to revive the tradition of firing royal salutes on major anniversaries and state occasions, so they became known, of course, as the King's Troop. Really, they should be known as the Queen's Troop now, but the Queen decided many years ago that the name should be kept in memory of her father. The lead gun is in effect the regimental colour. It's accorded the same reverence as the colours of the Foot Guards regiments. The guns that we see on parade today first saw service in the Great War, in the First World War, more than a century ago. King's Troop, commanded by Major Franz Sykes from Harrogate. He's riding Lord Firebrand. Saluting the lead gun of the King's Troop. Glistening and gleaming in the sunshine here on Horse Guards Parade, this Platinum Jubilee celebration. such a majestic sight. People come from all over the world just to see this part of the parade. These horses trained to perfection. And then, of course, the lifeguards, their dazzling scarlet tunics. Royal Colonels saluting. Field officer of the Sovereign's escort is Major Russell Bond of the Lifeguards. Standard bearer, Warrant Officer Class 2, Chris Liebert of the Lifeguards. He's riding Kilimanjaro. Music changes to the slow march of the Blues and Royals. 2 divisions trot past later, they're walking past now. A word, Jamie, because this again will be interesting for lots of viewers. The role of the Household Cavalry as an armoured reconnaissance regiment.
Yes, and a great moment, well, a great memory for them this year. Also, Falklands veterans from the Blues and Royals, 2 troops deployed to the South Atlantic. Lieutenant Mark Corrath, Lieutenant Robin Innes-Carr, and they took part in the Battle of Tumbledown and played a significant role in the campaign.
Field officer's trumpeter, who traditionally rode next to the commanding officer, always on a grey horse, which could be seen, of course, more easily on the battlefield. Regimental trot past. A real demonstration of the term horsepower. Gun and limber pulled by 3 pairs of horses. King's Troop, based at Woolwich. They have 75 horses on parade today. The colour of the Lifeguards, which remains at the carry during the trot past. Lifeguards trace their history back to the court of the exiled Charles II. Glinting axes of the farriers who would come to dispatch injured horses after a battle.
4, march! Aye! Right!
Saluting cattle drummers, riding the drum horses, crossing their sticks as a salute. We're often asked about the distinctive gold coats and the blue jockey caps. It's known as state dress. It's the oldest continually worn uniform in the British Army. So the band of the Household Cavalry, mounted band, will soon come to a halt, and their director of music, leading the way, will signal that he's in effect handing back control to the field officer for the final birthday salute to the Queen, which the Prince of Wales, of course, is taking on Her Majesty's behalf. A big round of applause for all of those taking part.
Royal salute! Present arms! Right arms! Guards in close order, left and right, dress!
Mounted bands moving off the parade ground as the guards will be forming three ranks, ready for their march off. Guards dressing the eyes front with no word of command, perfectly executed.
Guards, well formed, three ranks. Form, three ranks. Guards will retire. About turn. At the halt, by divisions. Right firm. Quick march!
Guards will be closing up to reduce the length of the procession along the Mall. Music Drums and pipes obviously in evidence. Operational aspects of drums and pipes, Jamie.
Yes, unlike the other musicians on parade, the drums and pipes are regular soldiers from the battalion itself, and their role is a specialist machine gun platoon, which I had the honor of commanding many, many years ago. So part-time musicians, full-time machine gunners.
Will advance. About turn. Guards on the escort, form close column. Remainder, by the left, quick march.
The pace stick being returned to the Regimental Sergeant Major David Griffiths by the orderly Guardsman Kevin Newell.
Guards, left, track.
The left guide of the escort, Anthony Owens, moving out to the right so that all the guards can see him. And when he drops the arm, it's the eyes forward. It's a signal to all 6 guards. Making his way to the approach road. There we see Garrison Sergeant Major Andrew Stokes, known to friends and colleagues as Vern Stokes, and he really is the man in charge of maintaining the highest possible standards on parade. And among various roles, he's overseen the training of future officers at Sandhurst, some of them on parade today.
When I look at the soldiers and the officers on parade and they're delivering to the best of their ability, I feel a huge sense of pride. I know an awful lot of them personally. I've trained an awful lot of them. The Field Officer and Brigade Waiting, for example, went through Sandhurst in 2003. I'd already been there as a colour sergeant instructor for a year at that point, and I remember him going through his training. So to see that development over a 20-year period, and also the young soldiers, because I've been in their position, and I know what it feels like to deliver the Queen's Birthday Parade, and I know the immense pride that they'll be feeling. I stand back almost like a proud father watching the parade and feeling immensely proud about everybody and what they're achieving.
Prince of Wales has given his permission for the guards to march off. All of this precision, of course, overseen by the Garrison Sergeant Major. It's a sight for us all to remember. This Platinum Jubilee Birthday Parade with Horse Guards bathed in sunshine. Just a few yards away on the Mall, we have the carriage procession taking the royal guests back from Horse Guards along the Mall to Buckingham Palace. And I'm reliably told that since we came on air, many more thousands of people have joined the crowds on either side of the Mall, and indeed packed into St James's Park and Green Park. So we really can expect quite a spectacle later on when the royal family appears on that palace balcony, led of course by Her Majesty the Queen, and ready for that great fly past that we're expecting at around 1 o'clock. And that'll be watched, of course, by the Duchess of Cornwall and Duchess of Cambridge, and by these three little ones who behaved rather well, seem to be having a great time. George and siblings, Charlotte and Louis.
To your duties, by the left, quick march!
I think it's fair to say that some of the very best tunes, and we've had one or two really good ones, have been saved for the march-off and the procession along the Mall. This is one that, when we attended the rehearsals, we really did like. It's called Irish Saffron by Sergeant Adam Barras, and the Irish saffron kilt, an iconic part of the drums and pipes uniform, is worn on special occasions. Conclusion of the birthday parade, the very first in which the Prince of Wales has taken the salute on Her Majesty's behalf. Exactly as Her Majesty did as Princess Elizabeth back in 1951, when her father sadly was too ill to attend.